Hello, Taurus, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of May 3rd through the 9th. And during that time, we mostly have a waning gibbous moon. So we're coming off that big energy of the full moon. And now it's a really good time as that light starts to wane. We've got a self reflection and rebirth. Good time for us to make positive changes to get rid of our bad habits and negative thinking. So if that's something that you're doing, let's just try to let those things go. And we're going to start working towards achieving our goals and accomplishments and kind of wrapping things up here as we move towards the end of the cycle. So we've then got the last quarter, and that comes in on the 9th. And, that is also, it's a time for us to, those things to start to come to fruition, those things that we've been working on for this cycle. And it's a good time just to be inward reflecting. We're getting things done, but we're also getting rid of negativity, and we're starting to think, we're going to start making those adjustments for the new moon, the next cycle that's coming up. So try to wrap up any of those projects. So keep those moon energies in mind, of course, as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for energies that you may or may not encounter, Taurus. So, as always, please take what resonates today and leave what doesn't on the table for someone else. And your overall message for this reading is take time to breathe out. Every time I see that card, I breathe out. So it just reminds me. Sometimes we do need to breathe out. Sometimes I've had a week like this week where I feel like it's a lot of breathing in, a lot in getting things done. I feel like I've been very, very busy the last week or week and a half or so. And am I bringing that on myself? Probably, but I probably do need to breathe out. So breathing out is really good advice for all of us. All right. As I'm shuffling the tarot, my fun weekly reminder, Taurus, is that you take the time to meditate. And isn't that card kind of what you're saying? Is take that time, big deep breath in and breathe out. But get in a place where you can have some quiet time for yourself so you can still your mind and your body and just do that breathing. Meditate, be quiet, go within, explore. Maybe you do this for 5 minutes. Maybe you do this for 55 minutes. It's really up to you and the time that you have and the patience that you have to do that. It takes me a while to take that kind of time to meditate. I feel like I get distracted. I can do it with headphones sometimes, like with a guided meditation, but just by myself, I get very distracted by sounds that I hear. So, in whatever way you need to do that, Taurus, that is my fun weekly reminder: is try to work some meditation into your life this week. Even if it's just every other day or so, and just see what effect it has on you. So, that is my fun weekly reminder for you. All right, let's get into this reading. Taurus, May 3rd through the 9th. Take the time to breathe out. Your present energy right now is the Empress card. Okay, Empress is she is our creativity, right? This is about, she sits in this lush, beautiful garden here. She is our mother. If you're concerned about pregnancy, if you're trying to get pregnant, this is the card for you. If you're trying to avoid getting pregnant, this is the card for you. So I do have to mention that she can show up when that is a situation. But the Empress is also the creative part of kind of making long-term commitments that aren't a baby, but maybe a job or maybe a marriage, maybe just something that you enter into that's going to be there long term, maybe purchasing a home, something where you're not going to be there for 6 months, you're going to be there for years. So that is what the Empress embodies for us. So take time to breathe out. Maybe you're going through a stressful time, you're making big life decisions right now about things like that, things that are long term and more permanent, and take time to breathe out. Let the universe kind of guide you in those decisions if you're starting to stress about them a little bit. All right, what is your current situation? Is the judgment call, the judgment card. So, and I said call, but that's funny. Maybe there is a judgment call that you're making on something that you're entering into long term. So, and that's okay. Judgment is about, making decisions based upon new awarenesses, things that come to light, truths that come up. This is just evaluating things when new information comes to light. So if there is some kind of judgment having to do with something that you're working on in the creative long term thing, then you just work on it. Things that are surfacing, this is just becoming aware. Again, it's like a new awareness, and you do have to say, okay, we need to Now that I have this information, let's manage it. That's really all that card is about. At the root of your situation is the star card. So you're feeling like you're on course. The star card is about direction. It's about kind of knowing where you're headed without even really knowing, like it's written in the stars that certain things just happen. So that's at the base, the root of your whole situation this week is that you are on direction. You might of course be having conflict, and that's normal in any situation, especially in any long-term thing that you're trying to build or create. Of course, you're going to have things that come in that make you make decisions and judgments about things. In your recent past, here is the devil card. So maybe that devil was in your ear helping to kind of make this judgment. Or maybe, is there something in there that's false that the devil brought up? Some insecurity of yourself, maybe some fear of success. That's could also be the devil. But there's something kind of just in your recent past here that maybe has kind of set this off, right? Has set off maybe just it was the information maybe that came to light too. Um, but this can also be kind of procrastination. What else? Maybe being a little bit distracted. So could be that you got a little bit off course for a minute, but now you're back on course when it comes to this creative thing. So keep that in mind. What is on your mind this week is the Knight of Pentacles. So some action here in the material realm and in the financial realm. So looks like you're kind of putting your money where your mouth is and where your ideas are and where your creativity is headed. So that's fine. You've got some sort of action there going on. What is just ahead of you this week is the Ten of Wands. So something that you are kind of finished with. And I feel like in this situation, it's maybe anytime we have a 10 like this, which is kind of like wrapping up a certain thing, it opens up space for this new thing that's coming in. And it might just be something that is naturally coming to an end. I mean, in this situation, I would say that maybe you've graduated, you're maybe you're getting married and you've just graduated college. You're finishing one thing and it's opening up the space for this other thing. Maybe um it could be so many different situations. It's almost like there's just something that's at an ending. You're kind of at a final push to get it done, so that you can move on, with this creative thing here. What is in your advice position here is the Ace of Wands, which is about a new passion. And again, once we're finishing one thing up, it opens up that space. Again, it's like, just imagine that something ends for you. I'm trying to think, school is one thing that might end. It might be that an ending could be that you're moving from one house to another, right? And that's an ending. And all of a sudden you've got this new creative thing because you're in this new space. You know how you move into somewhere new and you're decorating and doing things differently. And that's kind of a new passion. It takes up some space, but you have to let the one thing go in order to have the time and space for the new thing to come in. What is beyond your control this week is the King of Wands. So not only are you very passionate about things, but it looks like you're becoming very educated about whatever this thing that is so creative for you moving forward, that you're learning things and making decisions and doing things. And that's a good thing. That's a good way to be. What is your secret desire, or what are you trying to avoid? Well, your secret desire is that you're going to be happy with the choices that you're making right now. So, whatever this is that you're deciding on, whatever this creative thing is, of course, that is a natural desire, to be your secret desire, that I want this to be awesome. So whatever it is that you're planning, I doubt if you're trying to avoid feeling this feeling, because that's a great feeling to feel. It's the satisfaction of a job well done, and just the satisfaction of things working out the way you want them to. In your outcome position this week is the Ace of Swords. So this is having some sort of aha moment, some sort of mental breakthrough. Two aces in one week, that's a lot, and I can see where take the time to breathe out. Whatever this is you're building, it's over time. It's not that rushed. It's like you have time. When it's the Empress, you're building something long term. You don't have to make all those decisions right now. You can do one thing at a time and let those things come out. But you do have some sort of aha moment about something and like a breakthrough this week, which is good. But I feel like this situation seems to continue though. Again, anytime it's the Empress, these are long-term, life-term decisions, right? Okay, what is hidden from you here at the bottom of the deck is the Queen of Pentacles. So, Queen of Pentacles is really the understanding of the material financial world, and kind of that understanding of how things, how things work, and but more, where the king would be a little more harsh, and it's that logic. This is how the queen is a little more with that female, the intuitive part of it, kind of just knowing a thing and not even really sure why you're doing it. But that's hidden from you this week. So if you're making these movements, and I think that's fine. I think it's keeping you from kind of questioning things this week, or letting that intuitive thing come in, because you're just kind of doing things because you have to, if that makes sense, and that's fine. Let's see what the Soul Oracle deck says as a final wrap up card for you. Wrapping up for Taurus this week. As yeah, take time to breathe out. I feel like there's a lot of activity. There's a lot of things that you're doing. Maybe you're real busy at work too. Just take the time to breathe out. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. All right, the Soul Oracle deck says be creative. Well, that's what the Empress is. So be creative. There's a double whammy on that. Whatever it is that you're creating, be creative and do it. And let's see what you need to do in the way of self care here. Self care for Taurus this week. Self care for Taurus is the card that says reassess. You have the right to change your mind. There you go. You have the right to change your mind based on new information. That's that judgment card here. Be creative, the Empress. But yeah, take time to breathe out. You've got things going on. I mean, I think again, two swords. That's a lot coming in. That's new passion. That's new thoughts, ideas, things coming in. It's very active this week. So I can see why the advice was to take the time to breathe out. Also take my advice on the meditation this week, even if it's just a couple times a week and you have 15 minutes each time. I think you can give yourself that 15 minutes, slip some headphones on, do a guided meditation, and just let it relax your body literally from your head to your toes, and just breathe out, relax, and get back up and do what you have to do. So thanks, stars, so much for being here. I hope there was something in this reading that you can take away in a positive way and use in your life this week. If you're comfortable sharing, of course, drop me a comment down below. Let me know if anything here resonated with you, or if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those for you. Also, if you like my reading style, hitting that like and subscribe button, of course, always helps. It'll help you find me next week, where you can come back and we can see where this goes, or if you have completely different energy for next week. So thanks so much again, Taurus, for being here. Good luck, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.